Have you ever felt it? That phantom limb of the heart? An undeniable searing presence of someone who felt like destiny itself, only to vanish from your life's path, leaving an echo that still whispers your name in the quietest hours. A presence so profound, it feels as though a vital part of your own being was intertwined with theirs. And their departure left not just a void, but a persistent, aching question mark hanging over the landscape of your existence. You are not alone in this. This is not merely a personal anecdote, a unique sorrow. This experience, this particular timbre of heartbreak, resonates through the annals of human experience, a common chord struck in countless souls across time and space. It is a fundamental human story, a sacred wound that, if understood, if truly met with courage and curiosity, can, paradoxically, lead to an unimaginable rebirth, a profound awakening to the deeper mechanisms of life and self. The questions that arise in the wake of such a departure are often relentless, haunting the silent moments. Why them? Why did this connection feel so real? So imbued with an almost irrefutable sense of significance? If it wasn't meant to endure? Was it all some elaborate, cruel cosmic joke? A fleeting illusion designed to highlight what is missing? Or could it be that there is a meaning so deep, so intricately woven into the very fabric of your existence, that its revelation could alter the entire perception of your past, your present, and your unfolding future? The intensity of these encounters, where sometimes a single conversation, one shared look, or a brief, fleeting relationship can catalyze more internal change than years of routine existence, hints at something beyond the ordinary. These individuals often feel like the match that sparked a fire within, the fire of your own becoming, leaving you irrevocably changed. This profound sense of loss, this heartbreak, is not a sign of weakness or failure. Rather, it is an awakening to what it truly means to be human, to be vulnerable. It is a testament to the depth of the human heart's capacity to connect, to invest, to hope. The universality of this specific kind of heartbreak, the intense connection followed by an inexplicable, often painful separation, suggests it is more than a personal misstep. It is an archetypal pattern. The pain experienced is not a flaw in the design of life, but perhaps a crucial feature, an experience meticulously crafted for the purpose of growth. This reframes the pain from a personal failing or a random misfortune into a spiritual opportunity, a sacred wound that can serve as a portal to deeper self-understanding and wisdom. The very act of acknowledging this specific, often unspoken pain can create an immediate resonance, a feeling of being seen and understood, summoning all those currently wrestling with this profound enigma. What if the narrative of accidental meetings and unfortunate endings is not the whole story? What if these encounters, these magnetic, often irresistible pulls towards souls you couldn't ultimately keep, are not accidents at all? Not punishments for some unknown transgression, nor random acts of a chaotic universe. Imagine, for a moment, that they are meticulously orchestrated appointments, divine synchronicities, arranged by a universe far wiser, far more intricate in its designs than our conscious minds can immediately grasp. The renowned Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung, a profound explorer of the human soul and its vast, often uncharted territories, introduced a concept that illuminates these mysterious intersections of lives: synchronicity. He describes synchronicity as the experience of two or more events that are apparently causally unrelated, or unlikely to occur together by chance, yet are experienced as occurring together in a meaningful manner. These are not just mundane coincidences. They are moments when the outer world, an encounter, a symbol, a seemingly random event, mysteriously mirrors your inner psychological landscape, your current state of being, or a question with which your soul is wrestling. Jung believed that synchronicities mirror deep psychological processes and carry messages much like dreams do, providing guidance and insight if one is attentive. These encounters, therefore, are not merely chance meetings. They are, perhaps, the universe winking, nodding, subtly guiding an individual towards a truth they are ready, or are being made ready, to uncover. When such a connection forms, feeling as if the cosmos itself conspired to bring two individuals together, it signals that something profound is unfolding. This, then, poses a central, deeply intriguing question. What if this person, the one whose absence creates such a persistent ache, whose memory is etched so vividly in the heart, was a divine messenger in disguise, a catalyst, specifically chosen and sent, not to complete your journey with you, walking hand in hand into a shared future, but to illuminate the path within you? Sometimes, one conversation, one look, one fleeting relationship can catalyze more change than years of routine. The person one couldn't be with may have arrived, not to walk the path with them, but to show them the path itself. This perspective suggests that such a synchronistic encounter can be the very event that interrupts what Jung called fate, the unconscious patterns that direct a life. By forcing a confrontation with the unconscious, it offers a precious opportunity to change one's trajectory, to break free from repetitive, unfulfilling cycles. The unattainability of this person might even be a necessary condition for the message to be received with its full impact. If the relationship had simply progressed into a conventional partnership, the intense self-reflection, the desperate search for deeper meaning, might not have been triggered. The very impossibility of the union is what can crack the ego's defenses, forcing the soul to seek answers beyond the surface, thus making the messenger's role even more potent and transformative. The pain of unattainability becomes the crucible for profound self-discovery. Why this particular person? What was it about them that held such an irresistible, almost gravitational pull, making them feel like a missing piece of your own puzzle? Carl Jung's profound insights into the architecture of the human psyche offer a compelling key. Individuals are often drawn, with an almost primal intensity, to those who embody the hidden, unlived, or unacknowledged parts of their own soul. These encounters are frequently with those who reflect back something deeply significant, yet unconscious within oneself. One crucial aspect of this is the concept of the shadow. Jung described the shadow as the part of the unconscious mind that holds all the things about ourselves that we repress or disown, qualities, impulses, and desires that are deemed unacceptable by society, our upbringing, or our own conscious ego. This shadow is not necessarily evil or negative. It contains repressed ideas, weaknesses, yes, but also immense energy, creativity, raw vitality, and undeveloped potentials, often golden aspects of ourselves that we haven't dared to own or express. Sometimes, the person who captivates us so intensely mirrors back a luminous part of our shadow, a strength, a beauty, a freedom we had unconsciously yearned for but hadn't integrated into our conscious identity. Facing the shadow, Jung suggested, is a way to leverage this latent power within oneself. Furthermore, These intense attractions are often fueled by the projection of what Jung termed the anima or animus. The anima, in a man, is the unconscious feminine aspect of his psyche, his inner soul image, embodying his capacity for relatedness, intuition, creativity, and emotional depth. The animus, in a woman, is the unconscious masculine aspect, representing her capacity for logic, action, assertion, and focused thought. Jung observed that individuals often project these inner contrasexual archetypes onto their romantic partners. A man might fall deeply in love with a woman who seems to perfectly embody his anima ideal, while a woman might be powerfully drawn to a man who carries her animus projection. This is why these connections can feel so earth-shatteringly significant, so fated, so instantly and deeply resonant. One is, in a profound psychological sense, meeting a lost or unexpressed part of oneself reflected in the other. However, Jung cautioned that this projection, while a powerful catalyst for connection, is a starting point, not the destination. The individual has, untruth, fallen in love with the image they have projected onto the other person. When the person leaves, or the connection proves impossible to sustain, it's not just a person that is being lost. The mirror shatters. And in the reflective shards, if one is brave enough to look past the pain of the other's departure, one sees not only their receding image, but also one's own face, one's own profound longing, one's own unfulfilled potential staring back. The unattainable other can thus act as a living koan, a paradoxical riddle that the rational mind cannot solve. They embody projected parts of the self, yet remain out of reach, forcing a deeper, intuitive inquiry. Why does this feel like my other half, yet I cannot have them? The answer lies not in possessing the other, but in understanding and integrating the projected parts of the self. Often, an unintegrated shadow contributes to more primitive or distorted anima-animus projections. For example, a man who has repressed his own vulnerability, a shadow aspect, might project an overly idealized ethereal anima onto women, making authentic, grounded relationships difficult. The unattainable other might perfectly fit this idealized but ultimately unrealistic projection. The ensuing heartbreak then becomes a powerful catalyst not just to withdraw the anima-animus projection, but also to confront and integrate the shadow aspects that fueled the distorted projection in the first place, paving the way for psychological maturity. The searing pain of this loss, this profound and often inexplicable no from the universe regarding a cherished connection, is not a meaningless cruelty. It is not a punishment. Instead, it can be understood as an alchemical fire. Ancient alchemists, in their mystical pursuits, sought to transmute base metals like lead into precious gold. In the context of psychological transformation, the lead is the raw grief, the confusion, the shattered expectations, the deep ache of longing. The gold, it is the emergence of a more authentic, resilient, and integrated version of the self. This transformative process is central to what Carl Jung called individuation. Individuation is the lifelong journey of becoming one's truest, most whole, and distinct self. It is the process of self-realization, the discovery and experience of meaning and purpose in life, the means by which one finds oneself and becomes who one really is. This profound journey depends upon the interplay and synthesis of opposites within the psyche, conscious and unconscious, personal and collective, light and shadow. Often, it is precisely these moments of profound loss, these experiences of deep heartbreak, that strip away what Jung termed the false wrappings of the persona, the social masks we wear, and the suggestive power of primordial images, unconscious archetypal influences. Such experiences can forcefully propel an individual onto the path of genuine self-realization, compelling them to look within for answers and strength. The psyche, when faced with such a profound schism as an intense attachment to a projected anima or animus onto an unattainable person, experiences a state of imbalance and suffering. The innate drive towards individuation can be seen as the psyche's powerful immune response to heal this division, to reclaim projected energy, integrate split-off parts, and restore a sense of wholeness, much like the body fights an infection to return to health. The pain is a symptom. The individuation process is the cure. From the crucible of such experiences, an ancient archetype can emerge within: the wounded healer. This archetype, explored by Jung, suggests that it is through our own deepest wounds, confronted, understood, and integrated, that we gain our greatest capacity for compassion, wisdom, and the ability to truly help others heal. Jung himself stated that it is his own hurt that gives a measure of his power to heal. This very pain, this specific heartbreak, may be forging the individual into such a healer, capable of understanding the human heart at a level previously inaccessible. The failure of the relationship, in this light, becomes a prerequisite for activating the wounded healer archetype. Had the relationship succeeded in a conventional sense, the individual might not have plumbed the same depths of their own psyche. The suffering is what creates the specific wound that, when processed, allows the wounded healer to emerge with genuine empathy and insight. The fire of this experience doesn't just destroy, it purifies. It burns away who one thought one was or needed to be, to reveal who one is, truly, authentically becoming. This is not about getting over the person. It is about integrating the profound lessons of the experience itself, transforming the pain into power and wisdom. So, after navigating the labyrinth of pain, projection, and alchemical transformation, what is the great secret? What is the hidden truth that this entire, often agonizing drama has been meticulously designed to reveal? It is a truth so simple yet so profound that its realization can feel like the dawn after a long, dark night. They came not to be your destination, but your signpost. They were the catalyst, the awakener, the sacred messenger, sent to remind you of the universe that resides within you. The core realization that crystallizes from this journey is this: the overwhelming love you felt, the intoxicating sense of wholeness you glimpsed in their presence, the powerful feeling of destiny that seemed to call your name when you were with them, these were not solely embodied in or dependent upon that other person. They were, in fact, reflections of your own innate capacity for profound love, resonant echoes of your own inherent wholeness, and shimmering mirages of your own profound destiny, patiently waiting to be claimed and actualized by you. They came to remind you of everything you had forgotten about yourself: that you are worthy, that you are whole, that your love doesn't need to be earned from an external source, but rather remembered and re-owned from within. The other person, through the intensity of the connection, acted as a mirror, showing you magnificent qualities that were always yours. Once their projection is withdrawn, the anima or animus can be recognized as a dynamic force within oneself. This ability was always present, yet it often isn't until it is shown by the presence of another that one is able to recognize it as their own. Carl Jung himself, in his deeply personal and courageous odyssey into the depths of his own unconscious, chronicled in his monumental work, The Red Book, discovered this fundamental truth. He wrote, "My path is not your path, therefore I cannot teach you. The way is within us, but not in God's, nor in teachings, nor in laws. Within us is the way, the truth, and the life. This person, this intense and unforgettable experience, was a dramatic, undeniable call from your own soul to turn inwards, to cease the external search for completion, and to finally find your own soul within yourself. Jung emphasized that one can never find one's soul in external things or people. He becomes a fowl through his endless desire and forgets the way of his soul. He would find her only in himself. The gift in their goodbye, the true treasure unearthed from the pain of their absence, is the reclaiming of your own projected life force. When we project vital parts of our psyche, our shadow, our anima or animus, onto another, we are essentially giving away our own psychological energy. The realization of unattainability, or their departure, forces a crisis where this precious projected energy can be consciously withdrawn and reintegrated. This reclamation is the true gold of the alchemical process, leading to a surge in personal power, creativity, authenticity, and a more profound sense of self-possession. The experience, ultimately, was never solely about the other person. It was a profound, orchestrated lesson in psychic economy, an opportunity to become more energetically whole and self-reliant. From a deeper perspective, the unattainable other might even be seen as an unconscious recruitment by your own deeper self. The archetype of wholeness that constantly strives for your individuation. The self orchestrates experiences, even painful ones, to push the ego towards greater consciousness and integration. At this juncture, tears may flow, not just tears of sorrow for the loss, but tears of profound, earth-shattering recognition. Tears of happiness from the realization of this fundamental reality of existence. The relentless search was never truly for another person to complete you. It was always and ever a search for the self. And they, in their beautiful, painful, transient passage through your life, handed you the map back to your own heart, your own soul, your own immeasurable worth. And yes, with this profound realization, there often comes a feeling that the poet Rainer Maria Rilke might have described as a light desolation. It is a tender sorrow, a wistful ache for the years perhaps lived in unconscious patterns, for the mistakes made while navigating the fog of projection and unmet needs. There might be a gentle regret for the energy expended in seeking externally what could only be found within. This feeling is natural. This is profoundly human. It is essential to allow this desolation to be gentle, like a soft rain washing away the old, rather than a harsh storm of self-judgment or recrimination. This light desolation is not just about mourning the absence of the person. It is also, and perhaps more profoundly, about grieving the loss of the illusion they carried. The illusion of the perfect other, the fantasy that someone else held the exclusive key to one's happiness, wholeness, or destiny. This disillusionment, while tinged with sadness, is a crucial milestone on the path to psychological maturity and true self-responsibility. But this hard-won knowledge, this dawning awareness, is not intended as a condemnation of your past. It is the liberation of your future. Every moment, every experience before this one was leading you here, to this specific point of understanding. Nothing was truly wasted. Every tear shed, every pang of longing, every stumble in the darkness of confusion was a necessary note in the complex and beautiful symphony of your awakening. You may feel, as Jung suggested those who truly confront their depths often do, that you are being restructured at a level the mind cannot fully grasp. This is the soul recalibrating, realigning itself with its true north, its authentic essence. The old maps, the old ways of navigating relationships and self-worth no longer serve, for you are in the process of becoming the conscious cartographer of your own new world, a world built on inner truth rather than external dependency. It is vital to be exceptionally kind to yourself during this delicate and profound process of integration. Shadow work, the conscious assimilation of these deep truths, the reclaiming of projected parts, the acceptance of one's wholeness, takes immense courage, unwavering patience, and boundless self-compassion. You are, in essence, unlearning lifetimes of conditioning, societal expectations, and personal defense mechanisms. As one who has faced their shadow, you might find yourself in a space described as not in free fall in revelation, not stuck in reconstruction, not lost, just unhurried. This period of unhurried reconstruction is vital. It is okay not to have all the answers instantly. It is okay for the integration to be a gradual unfolding. The work done through this catalyst relationship, confronting the shadow, withdrawing projections, and embracing the call to individuation, lays the indispensable foundation for truly conscious relationships, beginning with the most important one, the relationship with oneself. Future external relationships can then be built upon a bedrock of authentic connection, mutual respect, and clear seeing, rather than the shifting sands of projected fantasy and unconscious need. And then, after the storm of emotion has passed, after the tears of sorrow and recognition have cleansed the soul, after the quiet, diligent work of integration has taken root, what arises? It is a feeling so profound, so liberating, so utterly transformative that it can, at its peak, only be described as a hysterical delight. This is not the fleeting, superficial happiness that depends on external circumstances, but the deep, resonant, unshakable joy of authentic self-possession, of coming home to the truth of your own being. The source of this exquisite delight is multifaceted. It is the delight of realizing that you were never truly broken, only perhaps sleeping, veiled from your own magnificence. It is the delight of knowing with every fiber of your being that the power, the love, the worthiness, the wholeness you so desperately sought in another was, in fact, your inherent birthright all along, merely waiting to be uncovered and claimed. It is the profound, almost startling delight of finally truly meeting yourself, perhaps for the very first time, stripped of illusions and projections, standing in the radiant light of your own essence. This experience signifies a reunion with the self, the ego finally surrendering to and aligning with this larger, whole, and authentic nature, releasing a torrent of dammed-up life force. This is not an endpoint, but rather, as Jung might articulate, the beginning of your becoming. Not a becoming of ego, but of essence. You are no longer a passive recipient of fate, buffeted by the winds of external events and relationships, but a conscious co-creator of your destiny, an active participant in the unfolding story of your life. Imagine the vast reserves of energy that were once bound up in longing, in confusion, in the relentless seeking of external validation, now liberated and available for your creative expression, for your unique contribution to the world, for living a life that is deeply and authentically aligned with your innermost truth. This marks a fundamental shift in motivation, moving from a place of perceived lack, the need for love, validation, or completion from another, to a state of inner fullness and overflow. The old, ego-driven, lack-based motivations that may have propelled you before this journey into the depths begin to dissolve after facing the shadow. What emerges is a new, more potent form of motivation, one that springs from self-possession and profound inner alignment, something not based on applause, but on alignment. The ultimate secret, the profound solution you may have yearned for, was never hidden out there in the world or within another person. The answer was never them. It was always, and will always be, you, awakened, integrated, empowered, and gloriously, uniquely whole. This realization is the pinnacle of the journey, the hysterical delight of self-recovery and self-sovereignty. If this journey, these words, these explorations of the soul's intricate pathways have resonated in the deep, quiet chambers of your heart, know that your experience, your story, is a vital and luminous thread in the vast, interconnected human tapestry. Your pain, your seeking, and your awakening are not isolated events. They are part of a collective human experience. Take a moment now, breathe deeply, allow yourself to reflect. Who was that person for you? What specific part of your own magnificent, multifaceted soul did they, perhaps unknowingly, awaken? What golden shadow did they mirror? What unlived potential did they stir? What truth? Having journeyed through this understanding, are you now ready to integrate into the fabric of your life? Share your insights, your stories, your personal awakenings in the comments below. Your words, offered with courage and vulnerability, can be the mirror for someone else. Your experience can be the permission slip another soul needs to begin their own inquiry. The gentle hand that offers solace and understanding to someone else just beginning this sacred and often challenging journey of self-discovery. You never know whose life your unique story might illuminate, whose heart your shared wisdom might touch. The comments section can become a collective healing space, a living archive of these transformative testimonies, where each shared story becomes an act of the wounded healer archetype in action. This exploration, this dive into the profound mysteries of the psyche, the timeless wisdom of philosophy, and the sacred art of becoming your truest self doesn't end here. If you are ready to continue this journey, to delve deeper, to question further, and to grow more fully into the remarkable individual you are meant to be, then subscribe to Egosomnia. Join our community of seekers, thinkers, dreamers, and soul explorers. Together, we walk this path of awakening, supporting and inspiring one another. Subscribing is more than just following a channel. It can be an act of committing to your own ongoing individuation journey, with this space as a companion and guide. Remember, the universe, in its infinite wisdom, doesn't make mistakes. That person, that ache, that confusion, that eventual breathtaking revelation, it was all for you. Not to break you, but to make you. To strip away the unessential, to polish the gem of your true self, and to introduce you, finally, to the incredible, resilient, and boundless power that was, is, and always will be. You. Now, go carry the flame.